Good evening and Happy New Year. Let's switch over to this. It's really bright. I can always get it brighter when the canvas doesn't have anything on it. Sorry, you're gonna have to forgive me. I'm still not feeling the greatest right now. So, Happy New Year. New year, new painting. We're gonna do an underpainting tonight, which is a basic painting. There's gonna be a lot of translucent colors. And I'm actually gonna do the underpainting using matte medium and these three pigment powders. So I figured we start by mixing up the pigment. You can see now actually to keep everything the same, get my mic to follow me so that you can hear me. To keep everything the same, I actually use a flathead screwdriver to pull the pigment out of the packs. Also because it's really dusty. And the painting that this is going to be for is actually an unusually bright painting. So the whole painting overall is like an orangey yellowish red. Hence the palette of mica powder. Mica powder is pretty cool. It's pure mica. You can see the powder in there. I'm just getting him open here real quick. And it gets everywhere immediately. And it's super, super shiny. It's funny, like, you can't see it on the camera, but when I open it, there's like a little cloud. It comes out. So, it's the orange and then magenta. And it's now it looks like I have Cheeto dust on my hands. The funny thing is, though, is that there's one of my mica powders, a blue one. I don't know if you can't really see. There's like a weird shimmer on my fingers. The blue mica powder has a hole in it, and so it's slowly leaking into the rest of the bag. So whenever I pull anything out, it's all covered in a fine layer of the blue mica powder. Luckily, there's two blues in there. And then there's the magenta. Satisfying ASMR sound. Obviously, I have used this plastic cup before, but acrylic paint is great because you could just, when you use it on plastic, you just peel it off. Because acrylic paint is just plastic. So it doesn't stick well to plastic unless it has a primer on it. Should have done that earlier, but I didn't think about it until I opened it again. There we go. Now, this is also going to be thinner because matte medium is a thinner liquid. It's actually used to extend it, but it also can be used as an adhesive, which is why you can use it for these pigments. Let me start off with a tissue. And yes, that is a dumbbell. As soon as you put that up, I was already thinking that. It's because my table shakes if I don't have a weight on it. So there's a 10-pound dumbbell on the bottom shelf and a 10-pound dumbbell, the other dumbbell on the top shelf. So that this desk, because it's a lift desk, but if I lean on it, which I will, like you can see, it'll shake pretty severely, but the weights keep it not. Alright. So we're gonna start with the magenta. That much. Do 2 scoops magenta, because magenta is the overriding color. Do 1 scoop orange. What is this called? Sunburst. So it should have a very orangey color. I may have to add more. I actually don't know yet. That's the other thing. I actually figured out what I was doing wrong with the not wrong per se, but a better method that I could have used for the glow in the dark paint, which I'm going to do next time. That was a huge scoop of yellow, but that's fine. Is that I was using gesso as the primer, as the base, and not matte medium, which you can still do, but yes, kind of. So it's actually it's mica, so it's very, very flat, like mica powder, so it slides very easily, so it needs to have something that's going to stick it together, an adhesive. So it's not hydrophobic, it's just, well, I don't know. You can look that up as mica hydrophobic, I'm not sure. But it doesn't behave that way because it will blend, it just needs a primer for that adhesive. I'm going to close these up for now because you don't want to breathe in mica dust for too long. All right, let me mix it up now and see where we're at. It'll look pretty. And it'll take a little bit. You actually, this is a heavy pigment load in this because I want the color to saturate as much as possible. But the nature of mica powder, because it's all flat planes coming against each other, the pigment can spread very, very far. Again, my fingers are in the way. I can't blend this really well on camera. So there we go. Look at that. It's like a creamsicle. It's like an orange creamsicle color. It almost has a color shift to it because of the different mica powders. Because the other thing about this is that the powders don't actually blend. Essentially what I'm doing is the suspension is holding them mixed, but they are not in fact interacting with each other in any way. So like unlike a traditional pigment where if you were to blend the two colors together and you'd get that third color, you're getting the appearance of a third color, but if you were to look really, really close, it's almost like television pixels. You'd still be able to pick out the different pigments of mica powder. Yeah, give me a second, I'm gonna tap it and see how many bubbles come up. So I can mix it faster. Also, because this is a plastic cup, there is some measure of static that will make the pigment cling to the edges. So I have to be really good about getting it out of the cracks and into the actual adhesive, which is especially true up here. But that actually should be good. There's only one way to find out. With a big brush. That I had already starched to reshape. Which, fun trick. If you need to reshape your brushes, wet them, put them in the shape that you want, and then cornstarch. Flip it. Cornstarch, as soon as you put it in the water, it will unbind and the cornstarch will just go away. But until that moment, it'll hold the shape and it causes the bristles to reshape themselves. All right, do the blank canvas. This might be wonkady for a moment. And yes, that is Donkey Kong Jenga. Now, let's see how thin it's gonna look on this. So let me pull up my reference photo, hold on. So I'm just gonna start with my shapes that I need to build in. I'm gonna color around them as I go through, but I've got a large forward piece here. Oh, yeah, perfect. I have a large forward piece here, but that comes actually all the way down. It's kind of like a big nubbin. It's bigger than what I'm judging it. So the only color that you actually see here is the mica powder, because there's no other pigment involved. So when this dries, it's going to have a nice shimmer to it, which as I layer, should increase the brightness of any paint I layer over it in thin layers. Is why I wanted to do the mica powder. So this is my most forward shape. So this picture is also going to be a... Well, this is kind of like a montage that I made of two different subjects. So I'm going to have... The plane of it is a giant, well, not giant, but it's a big coral, deep sea coral. And then in this area here, there's going to be a shrimp just hanging out in the coral. Coral! This goes... Alright, so that's my forward piece. Are you still sailing while you're watching me paint? We should stream Sea of Thieves at some point. Dark for this gift. And is that high enough? Hold on. It is not. Okay. And much bigger. This is why we do underpainting. This is essentially a thing that's supposed to be slightly more than half. So if I were to measure where this is, go here. All right, good. That's what I'm looking for. All right, now it's the right. Is it? Let me measure again. Let me measure from this edge. Here to. Nope, doesn't. Alright, it's slightly short of the middle. So, if this is the furthest edge. Oh, man. Okay, I nailed that. Perfect. This little bit goes forward, and then it's going to start going back. The next node is here. Kind of comes in from the top. It does slightly extend past, but shrimp is going to be in front of it. Okay. So now I'm actually going to add more pigment. I'm going to change it slightly to a different magenta, or more magenta is what I'm going to add, so that I darken the pigment slightly, so that I can differentiate between the further back and the closer forward. I'm going to put the shrimp in after I do the background of the shrimp. So I'm going to be painting him over the background because a lot of the shrimp is translucent anyway, so I need the color to pop through. There we go. Should be good. This is how it looks when I wipe it off. It's just really, it's really pretty. Yes, magically, more majority magenta. See? Oh, that's a crazy color. Hopefully it darkens it enough, though. It may not. I may have to actually add actual pigment to it. Which is fine for the underpainting. I think it did. I need to trust the mica powder. Oh yeah, definitely did. There, now it's redder. Let's see if it makes a visual difference though. It may not. Does. Yay! So this, I'm actually just gonna put blah, 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 all over the remaining white. And the basis for this is one, I need an undercoat, but I want an undercoat with the mica powder, as I said before. Give anything I put over top a shimmer to it, which I'll actually help by adding mica powder to the actual acrylic pigments as well. It's hard to see on stream the difference between these two pigments, but it's definitely there. But you want to be really light and translucent with an underpainting. One, because you don't want to muddy up your canvas with paint before you've actually done the painting. I don't think there was a 2 there, but yeah. Oh yeah, you can definitely see it there. This is a weird change too, because like the past 3 paintings that I've worked on are all very heavy towards the blue spectrum. So switching to reds and oranges is a very abrupt and bright canvas for me. But what's really nice is this is a really close-up view of this anemone, or this coral. So there should be a lot of really good detail on the polyps. The polyps are going to be pretty big. And we're going to be back to saying polyps forever. But this time, I won't mess up the polyps. Kind of why I stopped my other coral painting, because I'll pick it back up again and fix it, but the last layering I did to push the polish back, I really didn't like how it ended up. So hopefully I won't run out of this. I may though. Yeah, this is my darkest part. So this section that I'm doing here is going to be like essentially the background, so this is going to be the darkest section, and it's going to be blurry. You won't be able to see as much detail. Plus it's going to be behind the shrimp, so and the shrimp that I've got ready for this painting is a very pervert shrimp. She got lots of bibbies, lots of little eggs. They're all glowy. I'd show you the mock-up, but the mock-up looks really ridiculous. It's like a bunch of different photos kind of pasted together. Like screenshots that I took. Yeah, these are really thin layers. And then the thummies for that. I'm just not wearing it properly. That looks like a whole lot of nothing to everybody, but... Oh, see, now you can really see the glare. See, it looks fine until you put paint on the canvas, then the glare just starts going, hi! There's a glare here? I do. I don't like it. I'll layer on a little bit more where it is even darker. That right there tells me, here, see how it's not sticking? That means more gesso. That means I didn't hit that spot with primer very well, which is fine. It doesn't actually need to be it. I'm gonna go over this with a layer of gesso in a moment. Because that'll give it tooth for the layers on top. Especially since we're dealing with mica powder as our base, we want to make sure that it stays as the base. So it's funny, can you see it? You can kind of see the swirling of the mica. Let me swirl the glass again. Can I clean the brush? You just see the shimmering swirl of the mica powder in there. About the paint? No, I learned from school. From schools. From my painting classes, my color theory class. Because we used acrylic. Well, actually, we started with a paint called gouache paint, which is a type of opaque watercolor that does not blend well. And then we went to acrylics to learn about blending, and then you also learn about pigments and the different types of bases and primers and just the tools. So you can use a lot of different things for pigment. There are people actually that use, you can use found things for pigments or natural pigments. There is a woman that I follow whose name I cannot tell you off the top of my head. But she goes out and basically gets dirt from different areas. And she breaks it down to its most pure form, loads that into a primer, and uses that as her paint. So all of her canvases and paintings are extremely earth toned because it's dirt. And she calls them dirt paintings. But you can pretty much use, because all pigments are naturally sourced for the most part. And in fact, there's a lot of pigments that used to be extremely toxic. Especially the red pigments. Some of them still are. In fact, this one here, vermilion. You can't see it. Vermilion. Vermilion used to be one of the most dangerous paints on the planet. Because the color came from a toxic source. I can't remember off the top of my head. I had a friend in college who, her major, or her focus was the chemistry of pigments. But I had a whole bunch of loose mica powder, so I try to use it for underpaintings when I can. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but my canvas is a little loose. I don't have the stays in the back of the canvas to stretch it, and I don't want to do that until the end for this because it's a smaller canvas. Now, that's the wrong one. Now it is time for gesso. Alright. So I'm just gonna put a quick layer on top of this of clear gesso to give the underpainting or the underlayer some good tooth. And I wish I had a bigger brush. Do I? No. Sometimes I get impatient. I'll put the canvas flat and I will literally just pour the gesso right onto the canvas like ketchup. And then just push it all around, but you really shouldn't do that. That wastes so much gesso. It wastes so much paint. I mean, it does guarantee saturation, but... it does go pretty far. Now, what you may see, I don't know if it, actually you probably won't see it. The camera won't pick it up. Is the matte medium tries to make things dull, and the gesso tries to make things shiny. So it should end up with like a satiny finish. A nice little in-between. Which fits in with your standard finishes. We have 3 standard finishes: gloss, matte, and satin. Gloss is, of course, super shiny. Matte is super flat and not shiny at all. And satin is exactly what sits in between. Has a slight sheen, but otherwise matte. So, a little bit of a shine. Mostly matte. And the other purpose for this stuff is that... oh, I need more. Once it's dry, it's like putting a layer of sticky tape down for the paint to stick on. If you don't have a primer on your canvas, you'll find that after like a layer, your paint is just going to slide around and it won't actually stick. Like that piece over here was doing. Because not enough gesso. Not enough tooth, doesn't stick. Because again, the base for acrylic, even though the pigments are natural, the acrylic base is plastic. Which is actually why a lot of people don't like to use it. And a lot of artists use oils. I like oils as well, but the drawing time kills me. The drawing time kills me, and I struggle with getting detail on an oil painting because it takes so long to dry. Whereas like with an acrylic, I can use a brush like a pen if I wanted to. And draw like a super fine line because everything underneath it is already dry and won't try to blend it in if I don't want it to. It does make blending more challenging. I just have this quadrant to do. And then what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of almost draw the outer edge, so I might draw the negative space, which is the blurred area. Sometimes that's easier to do. It was also one of my most fun exercises in art school, was drawing negative space, where the assignment was, say, you know, you have a table with like a whole bunch of stuff set up on the table, little still life, and your professor says draw everything around the table. So instead of drawing the table, you're essentially drawing the air around the objects, the negative space, which gets you thinking about the objects differently and the perspectives differently. The volume and the depth of the pictures. There we go. I think. Kind of tilting my head side to side because the Gesso doesn't dry as quickly as the matte medium, so I can kind of see where I've missed. But again, I missed that little area, so. In fact, let's go over that a little bit more. Alright, that's a lot of matte medium. Or not matte medium, Gesso right there. Alright, cool. Now we have Gesso left over. Yay! Which, while that dries, I'm going to mix up the darkest color here. Which isn't that dark. There's no black in this. Well, actually, that's not true. There is black in this picture. It is the shrimp's eye. Once I get to put in the shrimp in. In fact, though, I really should sketch that shrimp out. So instead, what color do we want to sketch him in as? White is too white. We'll do him in peach. There we go. Thank you. I'm using my portable palette today, which is this thing. And it's nice because you can rip off the pages and there's another one underneath. I use this darn pink pigment for everything. Ridiculous. Where's your feet at? Perfect. Okay. So, points of interest on Mr. Shrimp. Mr. Shrimp's tail is 2/3 away from the bottom, so goes. just to start with this. Where's your eye? Oh, is your eye 2/3 of the way up? Is that how that works? Okay. So we'll put your eye here. Which of course will be black, but I'm just outlining right at the moment. Gotta be careful not to get the paint too thick while I'm using my fingers to wipe it off, because I don't want any ridges. This is just an outline. Alright, so then it's got one leg that's gonna come down here. Oh, what's wrong with you? Ah, you're shedding! So they shed? Which you want them to do, and you want them to shed in an obvious manner, but that is how a paintbrush sheds. Pretty dramatically. Get off my fingers. Like, why is there a big thing poking out of my brush? There's a shedding. How many segments do we have? So I'm not completing the ones that are in the back because they're going to be behind other things. So like this one and this one, where they kind of just stop. It's because they're behind other things. Here. So come down this forward. Forward again. Alright, how many legs does she have? Hold on. 1, 2, 3. Oh, because that's the one with the weird thing on it. Alright. So this one. Here. The curve. And behind it. And now we're in the glare, so you can't see it. There's no way to really get rid of that glare. But you can kind of see the shrimp starting to emerge with his spindly legs, which I keep losing track of. Cool thing about these shrimp is that they have the longest antenna. They just seem to go on for miles. It's actually, the antenna will be much darker once I put it in, but oh, I'm sorry you lost your battle. What was your streak? That's the problem. Back is not. You are not arched enough. There we go. That's a squirrel. That's a shrimp butt. I don't know if you just saw that, but my burnt sienna just went everywhere. It had a blockage. That was lovely. But it's open now. Now it's working. I'm so good it didn't get in my hair. It's gracious. Fountain of paint. All right. Well, good job, burnt sienna. Man, why are you shedding so much brush? Back. bigger paintbrush. This part. No, don't run in there. Nice. That's a run. That is a run. That brush I'm looking for. No, go away. There we go. Look, see? The proper amount of gesso, and the paint just sticks right onto it. Lovely. Sometimes there is a built-in flaw to a canvas that you don't find out, though, until you start painting on it. Where, and I've had this happen before, and it's almost always going to happen with a pre-stretched canvas, where something will have gone on in the process, and some of the glue or the binder that keeps the canvas fixed to the wood that it's against or that it's mounted to will get on the front of the canvas, which means that doesn't matter how many layers of primer, you are going to have an area where nothing will stick well. And when you encounter those, it's awful because you either have to start over completely on an entirely new canvas, or you have to painstakingly go over that one area and try to color match it with thicker paint. And then once that's dry, you put a big heavy binder over everything. doing that? I shouldn't be. That's the slightly not as. That is not the right area. I'm also being very deliberate in the way I'm putting this in so that it's not even, because I'm going to use that. Just need to darken, actually. Oh, so, give me a second. This is why I need to write down my colors I'm using. Because I keep forgetting to do that, so... We used Scarlet, Burnt Sienna, and Pale Rose. Pale Rose. Plus Burnt Sienna. Plus Scarlet. We'll add yellow and white lightning. That is a very, very muted palette. It's in very few colors. So, where did the brush go? Oh, not in its right place. Yeah. Fuckers, you have stop time. Here, come to the back of the chair. Sorry, camera shaking. That is jumping. There we go.
your boobs. What? What? You want to say something? Say something to the mic. Say something. What do you want? All right, fine. You won't speak.
Can't say what's wrong, right?
do not know why this brush is shredding like crazy right now. It's kind of annoying me. Because I really like this brush. And it's shedding more than it should. Which makes me think the glue is loosening. And I don't like the idea. Give it a second. Let's see what happens. I'm gonna give it a cleaning tug. Yep. Trying to pull out any more. Because the more I lose, the more this loses its shape. Weird. Sorry. I may have to stop really soon because my nose is just driving me mad too. But I only intended to do an underpainting, which is basically what I've already done. There's more complexity to it, obviously. With a mock-up of a shrimp. Hardly looks like anything. But I'm finding it hard to concentrate. And I just kind of wanted to do one stream tonight. Or at least one stream this week. To get back on board with it. Excuse me. Alright. Do a little bit more. Let's at least give it another 10 minutes. We'll round it out to an hour and a half. Forgot there was a darker area right in the middle of this. That. Because that's actually where the center branch is. What? 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 What you say?
Bugger, stop. Seriously, stop.
Alright. More shed. I'm gonna practically be able to create another brush with this brush. But it's only been an hour and a half. And I'm very tired. I've been not feeling well all week. And it's catching up with me. So I can't even position it a little better for you to get this without glare, but yeah, I can adjust the lighting. Hold on. Where's the... Not really. Not really. Anyway. Essentially, this is my foremost piece here. So this is going to be polyps, which you'll see very detailed. The largest of which should be about like this size, right in the middle. There's a bunch of them. You can see some of them starting down here. These larger polyps, and then background. So these are all going to be blurry anyway, which is why I'm not putting much more than formless kind of squiggles in this area.
and making it very mottled because it's going to have a lot of different depth colors to it. We've got our little shrimp kind of just placed. So she's gonna be sitting here with her big belly full of eggs, and then her antenna, and then all of her legs, which I will redo, of course, as we get closer, because the coloring is incorrect here. So yeah, hopefully I will stream more on Monday. And until then, enjoy your weekend. Thanks for watching. And have a great night. Oh, what am I typing? Thanks for watching. With a heart. Woo! Alright, folks. Alright, folk. Thank you for watching. Have a great night. I'm gonna go wash the mica powder off of everywhere. And I will see you all later. Good night!